Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about offsite ads and whether you need them, whether you should use them. And I have three separate Etsy shops that have three separate settings for offsite ads. So let's go in and take a look and I'll explain my reasoning and then you can make a decision about your own shop and whether you want to use offsite ads or not. In my main Etsy shop, this is the one that I make most of my sales on. I can't turn offsite ads off. Now, offsite ads are optional until you get to $10,000 in sales in the past year. So it's 365 days. You have to use offsite ads and you can never opt out again. So it's not really a choice that I have to make. I'm not super excited about offsite ads, and you have to be very careful when you have a website and you're competing with yourself basically on Google, because Etsy advertises heavily on Google ads and you end up having people come to your Etsy shop instead of your website. It's a whole thing. And see, in the past 7 days, I've made $2,200. So there's no way that I can opt out of offsite ads ever. It's always going to be in the shop. And there are actually things that I have moved from my Etsy shop to my website only if Etsy started advertising it heavily on offsite ads, and I don't want to pay that fee. Now, the way to find your offsite ads is to go to settings, and it's here on offsite ads. It is not under the marketing tab. It's not under finance. It should be under marketing, I think, but we go to settings and offsite ads. Etsy does make it difficult to find. And basically, this says I have to use them. It doesn't give me an option to turn it off. It looks different from if I don't have it turned on. But if you get to the point where you have to use offsite ads, this is what you're going to see. Let me explain really quickly where Etsy advertises and what offsite ads are. Offsite ads, we don't have any control over them. We don't have control over anything that Etsy chooses to advertise. We don't have anything to do with that. Etsy will choose what to advertise on Google, Facebook, Pinterest, wherever they pay for ads. That's an offsite ad if you get traffic to your listing from that ad. If someone clicks on one of your listings in an offsite ad and comes to your shop and buys something, you will pay for that offsite ad. And it's 12% if you're locked into the program like I am, or 15% if you're using it optionally and you don't have to opt in and you can get out of it. That's about an 8 times return on ad spend if you're looking at 12%, or a little over 6 if you're looking at 15. So Etsy thinks that's a good return on ad spend. I personally don't, because when I ran ads, it was better than that, but that's a different subject. Another thing to remember is that if someone clicks on someone else's listing in an offsite ad and comes to Etsy and then comes and buys something from your shop, you don't pay for that. It's only if they click on your listing, come to your shop, and then buy something. And it can be anything, not just the thing they clicked on. But if they leave your shop and go to someone else's shop, that person doesn't pay for the offsite ads fee. So that's how it works. But you don't have to do it if you don't have to do it. And if you don't have to do it, you can decide whether you want to opt in or not. So let me take you over to my other shops and I'll explain why I do or don't use them in my other shops, because I do and don't, depending on different things. This is my digital shop. In my digital shop, I do have offsite ads turned on, and that's because once I upload something, I don't have to make anything physical when an order comes in. And if Etsy wants to advertise for me on Google, that's fine. Now, you have to understand that when Etsy advertises offsite ads, they are not making money on these ads. They actually finance part of this for us, and the fee that we pay them only goes partially toward the cost of Google ads. Google ads are pretty expensive compared to Etsy ads. So Etsy knows that, but they also know that bringing traffic to Etsy as a whole from Google is worth the money. So don't think that Etsy's getting rich off these offsite ads, because they actually lose money on them. But they're hoping to make it up on the other end when they get an Etsy customer to come to the site and then maybe come back later and buy something else. So if you do have ads turned on, this is what you're going to see. You can see your stats. You can opt out. If you do choose to opt out, just click that. But with the offsite ad stats, it says you only pay. It just tells you the benefits of it. And then it tells you what it's been advertising and what sold and how much you paid for it. So it brought me $10 in sales, and I paid $1.54 for that. That's okay for me for a digital shop, because I'm not physically having to make anything once I load that up. And the only things that I have in the shop are digital. So it's not like something's going to get caught in that net and I'll have to make it and it's going to cost too much to ship and the whole thing. So the costs here, my back-end costs are lower, and that's okay for me to have offsite ads turned on in this shop. This is my vintage shop, and I do not have offsite ads turned on in this shop because vintage is a little bit different. And the things that I have in my shop are weird enough that people find them on Etsy if they're doing specific searches. And they also might find that type of listings on Google for specific searches. So if you have a shop that's vintage and people are shopping in a different way, like they're looking for specific style numbers or makers or specific line of something to finish a collection that they have, they're going to be searching with very specific terms. And that kind of thing you don't really need to advertise because there's not going to be as many of them on the internet. So when they're coming to Etsy, they're going to find it. If they go to Google, they might find it. So I turned the ads off in this shop just so that I wouldn't have to pay an additional fee. And it's just something that I probably don't have to pay. And also this shop isn't something that I really look at for an income. It's just extra. When you're considering whether to use offsite ads, you should look at your profit margins. You should look at how much that extra percentage is going to eat into your profits. And can you even afford it if you have free shipping added? I have had an experience where I was making about $1 per order because the free shipping guarantee with the offsite ads fee and then the cost of the shipping, it just took up too much. And I'm not interested in filling orders for $1. So just look at your own situation. If you have a website, that's something else that you need to take into account, because do you want to compete with yourself in ads? And unfortunately, my website is in the shop that I have to have ads turned on in. So there is that situation, but there are things you can do on your website's end to take care of that. Leave me any questions. Give this video a thumbs up if you thought it was helpful, and I will talk to you later.